Hulu, Allaah, Shayatin Bismillah, Rahim. We say Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. My name is Mr. Sharia. My contact information is researchpublishingmedia@gmail.com. Again, my contact information is researchpublishingmedia@gmail.com. This is in association with Dr. Tutor. Dr. Tutor is an educational platform where we tutor academically a variety of subjects. We specialize in math, more specifically math analysis. We want our young people, as far as black people, young black children, to be masters of math analysis. We're not saying that their life is going to be math analysis, but it's like tying your shoes or putting on your clothes. As a little child, you learn certain basic social how to live. So we want math analysis to be like a little child learning how to, a little black child learning how to brush their teeth. That's actually very good. This is something, math is something that you should incorporate into your young child's life. So that's what Dr. Tutor is. We're actually very, very good from elementary to undergraduate. Again, I'm in a college environment, but if you're an undergraduate student and you need help academically, don't flunk out of school, brothers and sisters. Don't drop out of school. You first have to, you need a counselor. If your parents are not or someone in your family is not your counselor, then you actually need a counselor. And the university has counselors. Now, are they going to give you the real deal, or are they just going to make sure you don't get killed, right? That's what's going on. But undergraduate students need some type of guidance because they're taking steps to actually become an adult. And again, the world, it's a world of ignorance. And the devil has knowledge, and you can't necessarily, you can't just go to black people. Black people in America have a history of slavery, chattel slavery. So you need some type of guidance as an undergraduate student. So that's what Dr. Tutor, with Zoom available. Again, to get to a point, we also have a leadership conference. The leadership conference is specifically for young black men, how to stand before the people of the planet and give correct guidance. We are so very ignorant as young black people in America and across the planet. But at the same time, we're also very, very intelligent as young black people. Correct? But again, we're in black skin and we're dealing with a devil. So it is religion, and so the leadership conference is very good. Always understand Moses in the land of an enemy. Pharaoh was an enemy, first to himself and his people. And in Pharaoh being an enemy to himself, he was an enemy to Moses and the children of Israel, as far as the Bible language. So for Moses to stand in very violent, hostile environments to speak to millions of people, that's some powerful leadership. So that's what we stress at the leadership conference. Okay, so we talk about math analysis. Math, so difficult. It make life easy. But always understand, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness. Okay, so we're going to talk about the stock market. What's today's date? I believe today is the 28th. Today is the 28th. So that is 10/28/2024. We're going to talk about the stock market. Stock market. Let me put this on the board, stockanalysis.com. Stockanalysis.com. Again, I like that platform. They're actually very good. I mean, I wouldn't know, but I like it. Okay, but first, before we get into the stock market, so where the money at? Money on the stock market. Yo, I got this one stock, right? It's a gold stock. People going to the ground and pull up gold. They located in Mexico. I don't know what part, but we're going to actually look at that. That's a good study for us. Let me put it on the board, the stock symbol. The stock symbol is GORO, GORO. They were at $51, not $51. They was at 51 cents. Brothers and sisters, they was at 51 cents. They had an earnings report. We're gonna read that. You talking about some bad financial news, like you might lose money, like when I talk about SPCE, and like I lost I've only lost on the stock market. I've only lost 3 times. They got something called realized gain. Then they got something called unrealized gain or loss. Gain, loss. Gain, loss. Realized gain is if you have a stock, say your stock costs $2, right? You bought 100 shares. So you spent $200, right? And that's not the totality of what you have in your portfolio. Always understand that if you have a certain market capital or capital base, say your capital base is $10,000. $10,000 is what you have to invest on the stock market. That's pretty good. That could be $5,000 your money, $5,000 margin, or if you just got 10,000, like you got 10,000 cash, then they're gonna give you 10,000. So you have so let's say you got 5,000 your own money. You have $5,000 that you can invest on the stock market. So they give you a $5,000 margin. Robinhood give you a $5,000 margin. I think it's at 5% interest, 5 or 6% interest, which is good. Charles Schwab, they got the same thing, but they're giving like 14%. That's a big difference now. 14% interest, 6% interest. All right, that's a big difference. You shut the door behind you, please.
Sorry, you're just really loud and I'm trying to study.
Okay, so, you see what I'm saying? Early in the morning, we talking about the stock market. So if you got $5,000 cash and you got a $5,000 margin, that's $10,000, that's your market capital on Robinhood. So, say you bought 100 shares for $2 a share. You bought 100 shares for $2 a share, that's $200. Okay, so say the price go from $2 to 50 cents, right? So that means you lost $1.50. You lost $1.50 on 100 shares. So that's $1.50 times 100, which is $150. Which is $150, right? So you put 200 in on a stock, you invested in a corporation. Let's call it Corporation A. You invested in Corporation A, right? You put $200 in, you thought it was gonna go up, right? It looked good, the graph looked good, it's at a good price. Everybody telling you to buy it. But for some reason, it go down $1.50. So you lost $150 out of that $200. Okay, I say that to give you an understanding. Goro is a gold corporation. They go into the ground, they pull up gold, they got land. This is in Mexico. And then on this land, they got certain places where they dig for gold. So I had invested in them initially because, stock analysts said it was a good they say strong buy. When you go to stockanalysis.com, they say strong buy. So it was a strong buy. At that time, it was at like $1, right? So I had always been looking at it. It had went down to 25 cents. I seen it before I even got into it. I always used to watch, because then we like gold, right? Gold look good when you wearing it. GORO had went down, it was at 25 cents, right? So I was like, yo, this gonna go back up though, because it's gold. This is before I had any knowledge, like we're slowly learning, well, where the money at? Where the money on the stock market, right? So we ain't got no money. So if the money on the stock market and we don't have no money, right, then what? Okay. So when GORO, it was at 25 cents a share, right? Now it's not volatile. What we call volatile. Like it's not going up and coming down, where you can flip it within a day or within a week. You can't, it's a slow up or it's a slow down. Okay, so when it was at 25 cents, right? It had went from 50 cents to 25 cents. I was like, well, look, if I get 10,000 shares, let's see what 10,000 shares is. Hold on one second, brothers and sisters. We're always dealing with the devil. So if you do 25 cents times 10,000, that's just 2,500. Let's look at the math now. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. Okay. So it's volume. How much do you have? Right? See, that's what make it, like, again, we waiting for God to come save us. But God didn't already came. And we ain't did no slavery because we was righteous people. We did slavery because we was wicked people. Now we amongst wicked people. And we naked. Right? I think God said they will come to me early in the morning, naked. And he still will not hear us. So it's volume when you start learning what's going on. Like you see a share, it be $3, you want 100, you really want 1,000, but that's 3,000. But you only got 3,000. Then they gave you 3,000, so you working with 6,000. But 3,000 of that, 50% of that is a loan. So if you lose that, then you ain't got no money. All you can get is 1 or 2 shares. Right, so with Nvidia then went up, say it go up $50. Now you'll make $100, right? That's good. That's actually very good. But to bring it back around, if you're talking about $3 a share, you buy 2 shares, that's $6. It go up 5 cents, you done made 10 cents. Right, but they got millions of shares. So if it go up 5 cents, 10 cents, you just move the zero back 1, the decimal, and that's how much money they made. So I started looking, right, it's volume, what stock you pick, and then it's the volume. You got to buy some shares of that thing. Yeah, you buy one or two ain't gonna make you no money. So when I was messing with Goro at 25 cents, I was like, if I buy 10,000 shares at 25 cents, how much is that? 0.25 times 10,000, that's $2,500. Now this is not long term. You ain't gonna let $2,500 sit on no penny stock. No, you're not doing that, but you're gonna let it sit for a day or two. So say it's at 25 cents, right? You spend $2,500, you got 10,000 shares. Now it's not realistic, Goro, because it's dealing with gold. It's not gonna go up to 0.35 where it then went up 10 cents. It's not going to do that necessarily, but it will do that eventually over time, especially if you didn't seen it come all the way down, and then it's a gold company, so you know it's going to go back up. Like you just know that because you know the pulse of the stock market. So if it go up, say it go up 4 cents. So it then went up 4 cents. Now it's at 29 cents. It went from 25 cents to 29 cents. So that's a 4 cent increase. So if you multiply 4 cents times 10,000, that's $400. Let me show it to you again now to understand. It's volume. If you only had 10 shares, like you can get 10 shares. 10 shares at 25 cents times 10.25 times 10, that's $2.50. So you bought what, 10 shares? You spent $2.50. Look, it went up 4 cents times 10. So you made 40 cents. Right? You made 40 cents. But I don't really think 40 cents ain't paying no bills. 40 cents ain't buying no cars. It ain't doing none of that. But I guess that's good for your investing skills as a beginner. But let's understand. You got GORO. It's a penny stock. 25 cents. It go up 4 cents to 29 cents. It only go up 4 cents. And sometimes this is very difficult to do. Penny stocks don't be really moving like that. Like you got to buy millions of shares to really get a good flip. But if it do go from 25 cents to 29 cents, and that's a 4 cent increase, and you got 10,000 shares now, that's realistic. That's just $2,500. Well, you would have made $400, just like that. Just like that. So that's when I first started understanding about volume and just getting into volume. Like, let's look at it like this, right? Adobe right now, let's see what Adobe's at. Adobe is not in the toilet, but, and look now, Adobe is profitable. It's not going out of business no time soon, Allah forbid. And so, and let me say this again just to remember, I'm not giving stock advice, financial advice. Like, I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm just telling you what God's showing me and how God is directing me on what I'm going to do or what I might do. And then from that, whatever God telling you for you to do. But right now, Adobe is at $483.89. This is Adobe. It's not in the toilet yet. We're dealing with a global war. They're fighting in the middle. They're fighting really everywhere across the planet, right? And so these wars you know, they get real scared because they really on the run, brothers. I'm talking about America as a country. Caucasian people, they on the run. So any slight maneuver where the whole world might blow up for them, they taking their money out of the stock market. But always understand, you got Caucasian people that follow the laws of Moses. They not going nowhere. They not, everything gonna drop. The Gentile Caucasian gonna leave, and they gonna stay right there. These companies still gonna be going on. The computer says that, okay. So right now, Adobe is at 483.89. They had a 52-week range. Look at the 52-week range. That'll let you know the lowest point. I think 50 in the year, the highest point, lowest point, the highest point in that 52-week range that 1 year was $638. Right? So you're talking about 638.25 minus 483.89. That's $150 difference. So you're looking at $150 that Adobe might go up. It's not going down, bro. Actually, right now, they have a 52-week, the lowest it done been is 433. It's not going to go down. They're saying, even the analysts are saying it's going to go up to 600 at least. So you're looking at, then when you go to the graph, and Adobe is going up. As everything technologicalized and all, whatever that word is, it's going to go up. Now, Adobe needs to work on their AI. Their AI is not really up to par. AI is not really perfected nowhere. What I done seen, I have very limited knowledge, but I'm not dumb. And when like I say, I love Adobe. So I was messing with Adobe. I brought their AI. Their AI was not satisfactory. If you got the PDF, if you mess with Adobe PDF, you can go to your PDF and then you can press that button and say AI assistance. That's some garbage. The only thing that's real good when I first seen it is readily available. Like you ain't got to go through no whole lot of hassle. You ain't got to put no passcode in. If you just punch up that PDF and that don't come up Adobe PDF, and then you see that button click, that's what you want. So I was like, hell yeah, Adobe, but when you start messing with Adobe, it got too many glitches and it's not really no good. So I was very disappointed. I canceled my subscription and everything. And so they need to figure that out. They need to get some of these specialists from like ChatGPT, whoever, Steve Altman or whatever his name is. They need to get somebody like him and they AI technology, and then they're going to zoom. They're going to blow up. But Adobe, listen to what I'm trying to tell you. And then again, look at it like this, right? If you're talking about cloud, them dream cloud products that Adobe has, I have seen no comparison to that. They set the standard. When you talk about artificial intelligence, the only reason why they can't, and then look, now the brother that run this is Indian now. So the only reason why they didn't came out with this artificial intelligence where it's commercial, to compete with Adobe. Microsoft ain't got no type of Adobe products that's competing with Adobe. Photoshop, Dreamweaver, InDesign. You ain't got no generic technological software companies that's competing with that. Oh, but here come artificial intelligence, right? But look, Adobe artificial intelligence ain't really no good. So they got to get that correct. But Adobe going up probably 600. Depending on the severity of this broadcast, right? Okay. So let's understand, right, volume. So if we buy 10 shares of Adobe right now, we're gonna let it go down to about 450. Allah forbid it. If it go down to 433, brother, we buy 10 shares. But say the price right now is 483. So that means we got to spend $4,800 for these 10 shares. That's volume. Not one share, not two shares. Now that's good, because Adobe going up $50 at least. It's going up $50, brothers and sisters. But it might go down $50. That's not bad. In the short term, that's bad. You got 2 shares, you done lost $100. But long term, you go to sleep, you wake up next year, Adobe at 700, them 2 shares, that's $300-400. But you had to wait a whole year. It's just patience. But look, we got to pay bills. And it's not really, and then again, it's not really about, I don't want to say it like that, it's not really about paying bills. It's just like where the money at, right? The money on the stock market. So look, right, you buy 10 shares, that's $4,800. But you ain't got $4,800. So then you can't even participate in this conversation. All you can do is listen. And whatever you got to, where you gonna get the money from? This is why I try to tell you, right? There's so many people, like the sincerity, right? It's so many black man, black woman, you getting hustled. Lord forbid that devil come to you in your face. He a devil, gonna try to sell you some type of product. Oh, you getting hustled. It starting to really get bad when you got people at the highest level hustling. Now, we're not pointing no fingers and calling out no names. I'm just saying, like, we have seen in the past, in our past, where it be black people specifically, but they hustling you. Okay. But when you start listening to what everybody, that's how I know it's God. Seek ye first the kingdom. What Mrs. Sharia telling you from the Research Library Corporation. Whenever somebody come to you and they say, well, look, we about to make a whole lot of money, all you got to do is listen. So we listen, necessarily, right? It always come back to what? But you got to have a capital base. No, you can't have $100, but you can get on the stock market with $100. And this is real good for a little child. Well, I remember growing up, 16, 17, we working at McDonald's, right? Now, I don't think you can be a 17-year-old and invest on the stock market like internet, but you can get your parents if you sit down and really, if you really studying. But you 18, you 17, you 16, you got $100, get on the stock market. Don't go to prison for 10 years, 15 years, talking about you get out, you 30, you still young. That's ignorance. Why don't you hustle your McDonald's money on the stock market for 10 years? And just read a math analysis book. Okay. But $100 ain't gonna really do nothing. But you get 10 shares of Adobe at $483, that's $4,800. What if you lose it? I'm not even saying that to be funny. No, you will lose this. Right now, we all get together, we take $4,800 out of our portfolio from the math club. It's just about building trust. Everybody put in. The only thing with that, brothers and sisters, what I'm still trying to work on, is that I don't trust you. And I don't mean that personally. I'm talking about you ain't Muslim. You nothing. You talking about you just mathematics now? Well, no. I'm not going to trust you to open up an account where you're going to be flipping my money. Now, if it's only $100, I don't really care. But if everybody putting in 2 G's a piece every 6 months, no, then that's going to be some money. So we talking about $25,000, but the account in your name. I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to steal it, right? So that means I got to have the account. But see, that's going back on me again, right? So it's like, we just got to learn that, right? I'm not going to take that. I'll do it with 100, 200. Let me put in 500. I think they did they did this, what's it called? The Tulsa Real Estate Fund. It has something. Well, this brother then got black people to give him, where he done hustled up $12 million. And what he met real estate. Real estate ain't, I mean, I don't really mess with real estate. I'll buy me a house, right? You don't want to be paying no rent, the rent demon. So I'll buy me a house. That's about it. Cause but this black man then hustled up over $12 million and then lost it all. And the only reason why I laugh, if you got $12 million, hold on one second.